Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to unlock the perfect crisscross and execute it with amazing form so that it's feeling clean, it's feeling smooth, and you don't really have to think about it that much. The crisscross is non-negotiable, like an absolute core fundamental move. The regular cross leads you into so many other cross variations, double under variations, the list goes on. So it's really, really important to actually focus on unlocking the regular crisscross with good form, because if you kind of get that move with not really good form, it's going to be really hard to execute all of those other variations with clean form too. So if you can just spend a little extra time, really focus on the regular crosses, trust me, it'll pay off a lot in the end. Okay, so what is a crisscross? A crisscross is when you're coming overhead, you cross your arms and you're jumping through that cross. So it creates a loop where you jump through, and then when it comes back overhead, you open up to come out of the cross. So technically it's a two-part movement, a cross and then an open. Eventually you want to learn how to cross with your right arm over and your left arm over, again, because that's a prerequisite for some more advanced moves. But for the sake of just unlocking a regular cross, if you're a beginner, you just want to stick with your dominant arm. So how do you find out which one is your dominant arm? You kind of just need to test out both. So you want to start right here, rope behind you. You want to come overhead, and then you're going to try and cross right here. Don't worry about perfectly getting it under your toes, but you want to get it in that area. So come over, try a couple with like your right arm over, and then go back, try some with your left arm over, and see how it feels. For me, I'm right hand dominant, so I tend to always go right hand over. In terms of the timing of the cross, you want to wait until it's coming overhead and it's right about to come under you. So right here, boom, is when you're crossing. Your arms are crossing, and then actually at the very last second, your wrists are kind of like scooping down and upwards. So a big mistake is like people will like keep their wrists dipped like this, but you actually want to make sure they're kind of scooping upwards. It'll help create like a nicer loop and bring the rope under you a lot better. Really quickly, I want you guys to pay attention to my arms, and I want you to notice how they're forming like a nice linear X in the middle of my body. So if your arms are bent too much like this, you're going to shorten the rope and you're not going to be able to clear the cross. So every time you're coming overhead, you want to think of shooting those arms down and into the ground. So arms are straight, forming that X, and then at the very last second, you're scooping the rope towards you with your wrists. So drill one is just going to be this toe catch. So you're actually going to try and get the rope under your toes like this. So at the very last second, you just lift your toes and you scoop the rope under. It's super important to get comfortable with this drill. And the reason why we do toe catches is because that imitates the time where you would actually jump over the rope. So if you can properly catch it under your toes, by the time you go to jump with it, you're already used to the timing. So with my clients, I usually do around like 10 to 15 toe catches. Once you can get to 10 to 15 toe catches in a row, I know that you're pretty much good to jump with it. So second drill, you can come overhead, and now you're just gonna try and jump through that loop, and then you're gonna do the open part into the toe catch. So it'll be cross, jump, open. Cross, jump, open. Same thing, repeat that for about like 10 to 15. Now, you should be feeling a bit more comfortable with the timing and like the actual movement of the cross. So you're gonna start with a few basic bounce, and then you're gonna throw a cross in. Remember, you don't wanna go too fast. You wanna go at like a moderate pace and just really get a feel for when that rope is coming overhead. That's exactly when you're gonna be jumping through it. So we can go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, cross. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, cross. See how I'm not going like insanely slow, but I'm not going super fast. I'm going at a pace where I can still feel like I'm in control of the rope. So you can see we just started with 5 bounces in between. As you get more comfortable, I want you to slowly reduce the bounces. So you can go to 4, 3, 2, 1. So you can get like super comfortable. You can go down to even 2 bounces like this, where you'll go 1, 2, cross, 1, 2, cross, 1, 2, cross. Because the next step after that is just going to consecutive crosses, which would be this. Cross, open, cross, open, cross, open. So that's a step-by-step progression that I would want you guys to go through when you're learning this move. Now I just want to go over like a couple key pointers in terms of your form. The biggest thing is that I really want you guys to be relaxed with this movement. A big mistake people make is that they're crossing so hard and they're opening so hard, and then they trip like that. But you really want to try your best to keep your arms locked in, and it's really only from your elbow down that are doing the movement. It's essentially just like this. cross, open, cross, open. So if you find your arms are coming off your body or going over a lot, you want to try your best to correct that. It's a super subtle movement. Boom. Where at that very last second, you're just flicking your wrist. So you don't need to worry about coming super far outside your hips. Everything should still kind of be like in the center there, and it's really that small movement. I know I slightly mentioned this earlier, but the number one biggest thing is that people just cross too high. So they'll come over and they find that they're clipping themselves and they can't figure out why. If you're crossing too high, you're shortening the rope. That's why you really want to focus on that arm extension. That way you have tons of room to actually clear the loop. So if you're clipping yourself a lot in the front, it just means that you're crossing too high. The second biggest tip that I forgot to put in here is you want to close the gap between your arms and your body and make it as tight as possible. So if your arms are farther away from your body, you're going to be leaning towards the rope, trying to clear the cross that way. But you want to think of pulling the rope in towards you instead of your body going towards the rope. So there should be a very, very small gap between your arms and your body, keeping everything in super tight. I'm going to be making a separate video on my top tips for like consecutive crosses. I feel like it'll be too much to kind of put that one in this video too. Might be a bit overwhelming. So right now, just stick with unlocking your regular crosses and stay tuned for the next one on consecutive. Also, because people are always asking, I know people are going to be asking about this rope, but this will be a secret for my YouTube fam only. This is actually my rope. I've been creating my own rope for like the last year now. So close to officially launching it, trying to be patient. But all the other ropes I use besides this one are from Cross Rope, so I'll put the details in the description, and you can use code MUNA15 for 15% off. I really hope you guys found that tutorial helpful today. I always kind of feel all over the place with these tutorials. I don't really plan them. I just kind of do it on the spot spontaneously, but that's the progression that I suggest working up to. So make sure you drop a comment below if it helped you unlock or even just fix your crosses. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification so you're always up to date when I upload a new video. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, for supporting me. It really means a lot, and I'll see you in the next one.